And the title of this story is The Worst Breakup Ever. So, the story takes place, it begins my junior year of college, and I am dating my best friend's younger sister, who is about to be a freshman in college. This is the summer before my junior year. And my best friend found out about it because he caught us the first time we were hooking up. I walked out of a room, and he was just sitting there on the floor with bloodshot eyes, and he just looked at me and said, "Leave." So I did. So I left, but I had to explain to him that this wasn't a random thing, that I really had like strong feelings for his sister, that I really cared about her. And so I tried calling him, I tried texting him, and he wouldn't respond. And I tried calling him and texting him an entire day, and I got nothing. And so finally, after about 24 hours of no response, I sent him the only text message that I knew I could send him that he'd respond. And I wrote, "Matt, if you don't respond to my text messages, I'm going to hook up with the rest of your family." Including your dad. And so Matt responded, he gave us his blessing, and so we were able to date that entire summer, and it was fantastic. But we had to stop things for a time when I went abroad for junior year. So I took first semester off to go abroad. She started college, and abroad was fantastic. I experienced all different forms of promiscuity, and I came back knowing that I really cared about Erin, that I'd gotten all of like this promiscuous behavior out of my system, and that I really cared about Erin. I really wanted to be with her, that I loved her. And so I went to visit her in college at the University of Pittsburgh. And so I'm ready to, commit to this serious relationship, and she's in the middle of her freshman year. Like, we are in totally different places mentally and emotionally. And so I get there, and the first day we go to the Pittsburgh Pirates game with her sorority. And before the game, she gets entirely wasted. She gets unbelievably drunk and just starts hanging out with her sorority friends and not talking to me at all. So it's me with these 30 girls that I don't know, and it's super awkward, and I'm trying to make small talk, and no one wants to talk to me. So we get back to her sorority house afterwards, and I don't know what to do. So I just grab a bottle of SoCo and just start downing it by myself. Because I'm trying to get to her level, and she has realized that she's way too drunk and has been ignoring me, so she decides to stop drinking so she can get down to my level. So we are going in completely opposite trajectories. And so I finished the entire bottle of SoCo by myself, and we go to this frat party. And so the rest of this story is, I'm pretty browned out for the rest of this story. So the rest of this story is a compilation of my vague memories and anecdotes from other people who were involved. So we get to the party, and I'm trying to kiss her. I'm being like very aggressive on the dance floor. And she pushes me off of her and says, "Justin, listen, you're not my boyfriend. You need to give me some space." But I'm drunk, and I hear, "Justin, I hate you. I never want to see you again. Leave." So I had come all this way to like be with this girl who I loved, and I'm about to cry, but I don't want her to see me crying, so I run. I run as far and as fast as I can run, tears just screaming down my face, blasting through groups of sorority girls on the streets, going, "Erin hates me." I run for 15 minutes, and I get to this part of Pittsburgh where there's no lights and there's no one around, and I'm freaked out, and I think I'm gonna get mugged. And so I do what any normal, completely wasted person would do, is I found a parked car and I hid underneath it. And so I'm crying under this parked car, going through my phone, trying to figure out who to call, like who I should call. And I get to my best friend, I'm about to call my best friend, and I remember my best friend had just screwed me over on housing for the semester. He had abandoned me and decided to live with some other guy, and so I started crying even harder, like I can't even call my best friend. Nobody likes me. And finally, I call my sister. I call my sister, Shira. And I'm like, "Shira, I'm drunk in the middle of nowhere in Pittsburgh. I'm hiding under a car." And Shira's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "'Cause Erin hates me." And so Shira, not knowing what to do, calls Erin. And Erin didn't know that I had left this party. Because I did it, so that she wouldn't know that I was running away crying. And so my sister goes, "Erin, why is my brother drunk crying under a parked car in the middle of Pittsburgh?" And this just blows Erin's mind. Erin is just so furious that, like, she doesn't know what to do. She calls me, and she's like, "Justin, where are you?" And I'm like, "I have no idea where I am." Like, I could give you the make and model of the car that I'm hiding under. Like, I could give you the license plate number. You can find it on Google Earth. So she spends the next hour and a half coordinating with, I have no idea where I am, and coordinating with me. Finally, we find some cross streets. She finds me. And instead of taking me to a safe place, we go to another apartment party. And we get to this party, and there's 15 people at this apartment, and Aaron and I sit down on the couch. I'm still crying, and we have this very deep, emotional heart-to-heart, and everyone leaves the party. We ruin this entire party for this whole group of people. And so we have this hour-long, like, amazing heart-to-heart, and we come to some extremely important conclusion about our relationship, reconciling our differences. I remember none of it, but I just remember that it was very important, and then we left to go back to her dorm. And I guess I was walking, like, a couple steps in front of her, like about 4 steps in front of her, because I was so angry at her. I didn't want to walk next to her and talk to her. And it's 2 a.m, Saturday night. We're on a crowded street. There's lights. And all of a sudden, from out of some alley, 3 girls jump out and start hitting her and kicking her and pull her hair and drag her to the ground. And I'm like, what? And I run at them, fist flying to fight them. They knock me down. I sprain my ankle. I'm on the ground screaming and crying. I think Aaron's dead, and I'm crying, Aaron, where are you? Erin is fine. Like, they roughed her up, and she's fine. She's standing. She's looking down at me. I'm crying. I'm, like, holding onto her leg. I'm like, Erin. The girls ran off. Someone called the cops. Someone called the ambulance. The ambulance comes. They put me on a stretcher. They wheel me into the back of the ambulance. They're like, Erin, do you want to go in the back with them? She's like, no. Like, I'll just sit in the front. So Erin sits in the front. They rush me to the hospital. They put an IV in my arm so I'll feel better in the morning, because I cried so much I didn't have any liquid left in my body. Erin didn't want to be alone with me in the hospital, so she invited all of her sorority sisters to the hospital. They ordered pizza to the ER, like, made a whole night of it. Meanwhile, Shira calls back, and she's like, where are you? Erin's like, we're in the hospital now. My sister puts my mom on the phone. Erin has to talk to my mom. Finally, I leave in a boot and on crutches. I crutch back to her dorm. She invites her sorority sisters over to sleep with us because she didn't want me to be alone in the room with her. And wake up the next morning. She walks me to the bus stop. I take the bus home, and we didn't talk again for another year. She never forgave me for that. So the moral of the story is that if you're ever in a terrible relationship, it could get a lot worse. Thank you, guys.